this is the first time they've put in some rare Pokemon Incense. I'm talking about Pinsir here and Absol Incense. That will be available in the Valentine's bundles, but are they good value otherwise? How do we even value an incense? Welcome back to another Pokemon Sleep video, it's Bro Vinny here. So these are the currently known Pokemon that can appear in incenses, and usually you can get them from your missions. So I'm talking about the weekly missions, this thing here. So the higher your rank, the more difficult this mission will be. So for me, I'm rank 50, I will always need Master 3 in order to get the Pokemon Incense. And this is the currently known ranks that determine the difficulty of reaching that incense. But what I haven't talked about before is that not only does it determine the difficulty of the incense, it also determines what Pokemon Incense you can possibly get. For example, while at Greengrass Isle you can actually get all of these Pokemon, if you are past rank 11, so in other words from rank 12 onwards, you're locked out of this lot of incenses. So if you feel like you haven't seen a Pikachu or a Rattata or a Pikachu incense since the start of the game, well, you're not wrong because they don't exist after rank 12. And the other cutoff is rank 24 to 25, where a new lot of incenses appear, which is great because I'm done with Jigglypuff. And as you can see, this is the currently all known Pokemon that can appear in incenses, and they don't include any rare Pokemon. So that might make you value the Absol Incense in Bundle M, or possibly, if you really like Pinsir Incense, 2 of them, in Bundle L, a bit more than other types of incenses, like the commonly available Bulbasaur or even Slowpoke. And just for a visual guide, let's go and map out which Pokemon Incense is actually available through weekly missions that are also coinciding with this event bundle. So we have Bulbasaur Incense in the Bundle L, we've got Chikorita Incense, Chikorita, Bulbasaur, and Jiggly. So besides Pinsir and Absol and Slowpoke, they're really only giving us Greengrass Isle incenses. And if you ask me, the fact that they've made us go to Greengrass Isle so much for events and so on, I feel like those incenses aren't worth as much. For the Valentine's event, of course there's also Slowpoke, but the advantage of the Slowpoke incense is that if you're already past sort of research rank 25, well, you were never going to get another Slowpoke incense anyway, so does it hurt to stock up on a Slowpoke incense? Maybe it doesn't, maybe it's good to have one. And yes, I understand the incenses are in line with the boosted Pokemon, the Pokemon that are getting boosted for this event. They're all of the ones that will have a boosted spawn rate. But still, giving out these incenses in the bundles doesn't feel like very good value to me. So as usual, I value these incenses just as the candies that they provide, so that, well, I'm going to assume that you're not even going to catch these Pokemon, you're just going to use the incense and then it appears as a sleep style, and then you just get candies from them. And while I thought long and hard about whether to actually give a boosted value to rare incenses like Absol, yes, Absol is a desirable Pokemon for many reasons, it just farms ingredients like crazy. But the problem is, Absol and other rare Pokemon, they take more biscuits to catch, and ultimately one incense may not be enough for you to catch the Absol. But it certainly is still good Absol candy. So at the end, I decided that I would value Absol and Pinsir incenses just the same way as every other Pokemon, just as a candy value. But unlike the base evolutions of like Bulbasaur and other sort of more common Pokemon, these rarer Pokemon actually drop more candies when you encounter their sleep style. So while I normally use the 2-star sleep style as my comparison value, so for Absol I'll be using 8 candies. Typically for more common Pokemon like Bulbasaur, they usually give about 5 candies when you encounter a 2-star sleep style. So this is what I normally base my calculations off. Because on average you're going to get 2-star sleep style because it's somewhere in between 1 and 3-star, it's just as simple as that. And because 4-star is quite rare, I usually exclude that from my calculation to be a bit more conservative. But because 2-star sleep style of rare Pokemon like Absol is actually worth more candy, and it's the same with Pinsir's case as well, you're going to find that in my calculation, I've put a bit more of a diamond value for comparison for these two Pokemon incenses. But otherwise, I've calculated them just the same way as any other Pokemon incense. So now onto the part you've all been waiting for, the discounts of each bundle. So we're talking about the Valentine's bundles S, M, and L, and their discount amount is over here in red. Now, as usual, you might not value things the way I do. The way I do it is I look at the diamond shop or the sleep point exchange shop, and then I have a conversion rate. I explain it all down here in the footnote. I try to be as unbiased as possible, but you might value things a bit more than me. So for example, Absol Incense, I valued it based on the fact that it is worth 8 candies, and 50 diamonds is what 8 candies is worth. For Pinsir, because we get 2 of the incenses, therefore it's 100. For base evolutions like Bulbasaur and Slowpoke and Chikorita, they're all worth the same because you only get 5 candies. And this is based off the 2-star sleep style. Now Jigglypuff is an interesting one. I almost feel like it should be worth 0. Yes, it does provide 6 candies for a 2-star sleep style, which can be used to level up your existing good Wigglytuff. But otherwise, you shouldn't be catching Jigglypuff as the middle evolution anyway. You should be catching the Igglybuff where possible because you get an extra main skill up, level up, and also bigger inventory. So even if you like Jigglypuff, you really shouldn't be using the incense in order to catch Jigglypuff. You should just be using it for candies. And another point worth making about Jigglypuff is that it's everywhere during this event. Even if you really want a Jigglypuff, well, you can get it no matter where you go. It's boosted spawn. Whereas, if you want an Absol and you don't want to go to, say, Snowdrop Tundra or Greengrass Isle, and your only choice is either Lakeside or Cyan Beach, or at least you get one Absol with this incense. So what I've done is, if you really don't like Jigglypuff, well, I've taken this out for an alternative comparison where Jigglypuff is worth nothing. And you can see that while largely the value remains the same, you're looking at about a 34% discount, which is the same in both bundle S and M. So really only a small difference on the discount, because previously it was a 35% discount. As for the way that I valued ingredient ticket this time, because this is the first time I've had to value ingredient tickets, what I've done is I've taken the premium exchange shop cost, which is 300 sleep points, as you can see here, and I converted that in a 4:1 ratio to diamonds, and this would be how much 5 ingredient tickets are worth. Now some people did suggest that maybe ingredient tickets should be worth 0. I don't think it should be worth absolutely 0. Yes, there are ways to get it for free, and while I still don't think ingredients is the meta, I feel like berry specialists are still the meta in this game. It does mean that if you're filling your team with many berry specialists, well, you're not going to have much ingredients. So if you're trying to power up your Snorlax a lot, you might want to run 4 berry specialists and 1 healer, but then you have no ingredients at all. So if you had a ticket or a lot of tickets for ingredients, well, that essentially acts as your Vaporeon or your ingredient specialist, almost like a 6th Pokemon on the team. So in that sense, ingredient ticket is actually quite meta, quite useful, because that allows you to focus on berry farming. So this is not to say that dishes and ingredients is the meta, it's just to say that, well, you could use it for a berry meta. And that is why I decided that I would give it a value, unlike Focus Incense, which I've always valued at 0. As for ingredient ticket S, well, I basically just took the value in the exchange shop for ingredient ticket M and I just divided by 3. Because there is no ingredient ticket S in the premium exchange shop, so I had to convert it somehow. So which one am I going to buy? Look, I really can't look past the fact that there's 20 Poke Biscuits in the worst bundle, bundle M, and also the fact that there's an Absol Incense. I do want a good Absol, even if I don't catch it straight away on the first use of this incense. And by the way, you should use the Absol incense during a short nap session so that you can stack it with your bonus biscuit, a session 1, and you're not distracted by all the other Pokemon that are spawning. And if you use it early in the week, let's say day 1, and you run it with a friend incense as well, which is available in Bundle S, and let's say you only get 3 spawns for that first day, the first nap, well, the 4th spawn being Absol means that there's a 1 in 4 chance that friend incense will land on Absol. So maybe you can stack your premium bonus biscuit with a hungry Absol. Regardless, for me, I'll probably end up buying the Bundle M because of how much I need Poke Biscuits and how much I want Absol. But for the rest of you, if you're just starting the game, Chikorita is a good choice. You'll need Chikorita to build a team for Lakeside. Slowpoke, again, if you get double tails for Slowpoke, it's a good option as well. Between Bulbasaur and Pinsir, I would say catch a Bulbasaur first because it's just cheaper to invest and you can more easily find a good one. But Bulbasaur, its ingredient list is a bit more strange. It does honey and tomato and potato. It kind of does a bit of every dish type, whereas Pinsir is very focused on desserts, with the exception of level 60 sausage. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comment section below. If this video helped you, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.